mean, I'm a surfer. I can't go out and get mad at the waves. I can't put in a special request and say, God, make the waves perfect for me today. It is what it is. I got to learn some consistency in my life. Once I got that consistency, I'm able to walk on waves. It's pretty wild. And then, you know, being a black surfer, I had to overcome a whole lot in my head because my parents told me, we don't do that. We don't do sand in between our toes, in your father's car. We don't do that. So you got to be able to overcome some things. The principle of gender. This is the last one here, but the most important. Gender is everything. Everything has a masculine and feminine principle. Gender manifests on all levels. It contains the solution to many mysteries of life. Nature comes from the copulation of creation. I'm just quoting here. That's what it said. If we're going to create beautiful things in the world, we got to be able to get along. Whether it's at the workplace. There was a brother who I worked with, and he'd been working as a teacher for 20 years. He said, you know, you got to treat all the women nice, especially the head secretary. The head secretary is first, and that's usually a woman, so you better treat her well. If not, your world is just messed up, brother. You got to find that balance. You got to be thinking about how I'm going to interact with people, whether you're single, whether you've been with somebody for a while. In order to create better in life, we got to be thinking about that beautiful balance. So hopefully, I'm hoping at the end of my life, during that judgment where my heart is weighed, and hopefully it's as light as a feather, hopefully my mind is free, and I'm not experiencing pain, but I may have to confess a few things. I have to wonder about correspondence. Have I done wrong? Have I done violence? Have I stolen? Have I defrauded anybody? If I think about my vibration and what I'm speaking into the world, because your voice can speak an awful evil vibration into somebody, even if we're just telling jokes. Have I spoken lies? Have I spoken evil? Have I caused pain to another? Have I committed fornication? Have I caused the shedding of tears? Have I dealt in deceit? Have I transgressed? If I've done that, I've disrupted the balance. As far as opposition, have I disassembled? Have I discussed secrets? Have I defiled the wife of any man? Have I caused terror? Now, terror don't have to be a big thing. You can just be, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Rhythm. Have I disrupted the rhythm of my life? Have I polluted myself? Have I put things in my body that's going to slow me down and allow me to keep from reaching my best potential? I got to be aware of what my body is telling me. Man, I went to the doctor and they said, man, I got high blood pressure. My dad's got high blood pressure. Grandfather got high blood pressure. All my uncles, all my cousins got high blood pressure. Some of them even got diabetes. They ain't even 35 years old. That stuff gets passed down. And this idea that I can't balance myself. I can do it. Have I been hot-tempered? Have I been neglectful of truthful words? Have I only said what I wanted to say for my own? Have I cursed another? Have I acted with insolence? Have I stirred up strife? Have I judged somebody hastily? Cause and effect. Have I gossiped? Because that stuff comes right back at you. You throw that mess out there, hit the fan, it hits you. Have I spoken scornfully? And as far as gender, have I cursed a God? Or have I cursed a woman? Have I cursed women in general? Have I cursed men in general? Just say, ooh, all of them. I don't know about you, but I've been around some of those conversations where we down the whole group. That's like half the world. That's pretty heavy. And I mentioned, just becoming a black surfer, I had to think a little bit. But the whole group, all of them? Just a pause right here before I finish up. I've been talking with some folk on Facebook. You get into these deep conversations. And there seems to be some kind of black male shortage. So I've heard. But then we start asking ourselves about, there's a whole big continent of black men. If you travel down to Brazil, they're a third of the population in Brazil. Black folk. So I'm just talking about limitations that we put on our mind, and we allow some statistics that we've heard to lock us into this idea that it ain't going to happen for me. All right. Have I stolen from a baby? And I really thought about this deeply because I got 2 daughters. And has my time been wasted on other things that I didn't need to be focused on because I got to be prepared for their future? Am I stealing my time from them? Am I stealing my creative ability by not being able to have harmonious relationships with the women in my life? And now I'm speaking as a man, knowing boy, if they were to weigh me right now, I'd be real lacking. That'd be a heavy heart. So I'm working. I don't know about y'all, but I hope somebody in here can start working on finding that balance. Finding that balance. Good. I wanted to see if there's anybody that has a question. Any man, any woman. One man and one woman. If I got 5 minutes. Anybody have a question? They ever wanted to ask a psychologist?
You talked about the interconnectedness of both the psycho and the spiritual. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
The interconnectedness of the psycho and the spiritual?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Well, the ancients believed that all of us have a soul. Now, in Western society, I'm talking only for the last 200 years, they view time as linear. As we said before, age ain't nothing but a number. We see these same patterns and cycles again and again. For a child, every child has a gift. Every person has a gift. If we don't illuminate that gift, they're going to be out of that cycle and they're going to miss that opportunity. For the relationships, in particular, if it's a marriage relationship, dating relationship, that significant other in their life, if they're not able to help them illuminate their soul, if their child never knows about that, they're going to miss out. And they're going to be seeking and searching. And they're going to disrupt a lot of other people's lives in the process, trying to get to who they are. In America, we call it finding ourselves. In Africa, they have this place called Timbuktu. You stayed in school till you was 80. Because they just couldn't have people thinking they was grown at 40. I got some uncles, I love them. And some other family members. And I don't know, some days my dad might even call me one, but he used to call them junior flips. Because they ain't quite flipped it to really they figured out that they're supposed to be senior. They got gray hair and everything, but they still doing a little too much in life. We got to find that balance of who we are. Some of that means you have to go back sometimes and forgive whoever it was, mama, daddy, aunt, uncle, whoever it was that disrupted your path to finding who you truly are. If you don't, you won't be able to get to that path. And sometimes they did all they could do. They've done all they can do. My parents, they sent me to college and they said, well, you got to take out your own loans. I love you, but we did all we can do because you was enough. He was in and out of the principal's office. We had to send you to private school. We ain't got no more for you. But we do have this piece of wisdom or that piece of wisdom. And you got to resolve that. You got to resolve that. Even if they've already passed. That has to come to peace so you can illuminate that soul. I hope that answers your question.